Hey Clashers, if Supercell follows the same schedule as last year when it comes down to their updates, we can expect an update in February after the Clan War League. If we now take a look at the calendar and have in the back of our heads the fact that usually updates drop on a Monday, we can already identify either the 8th of February or the 15th of February as the most likely update date. But let's talk about what we can expect from the update, because a couple of things are already known. Then I will as well add some things I would like to see as well moving forward in the future for Clash of Clans I would like to see getting added to the game, and as well how likely it is to have those things added. But let's kick things off first with what we know what will happen with the game, which is the defensive level. Because if you take a look at the supercharges, like for example for the Fire Spitter, you can see, well, new level coming. And this is already displayed for a couple of defenses. So for example, it is the Fire Spitter. If we take a look at other defenses, this is not how it's worded over there. Instead, if you take a look at the Scatter, for example, there's nothing like new level or coming or something, right? So this means we know already with the next update, there is most likely a supercharge happening, because without understanding how this entire system works, we know that if a building is maxed, you can supercharge it temporarily, and this is getting removed when there's a new max level coming, like it is displayed right here. But not just only the Fire Spirit is getting a new level, but as well the Mortar, based on this message as well, the same as the Tesla, should receive a new level as well. And then we have as well the Inferno Tower on top of that, receiving a new level as well. That's the amount of fingers. Those 4 defenses should receive new level with the update. And then we have as well the Scatter, as I just showcased, the Scatter, the Expo, and as well, where is it, the Builder Hut, not receiving new level, which means then most likely in April or something. Again, if Supercell is following the same schedule as last year when it comes down to the updates. But this means 4 new level for defenses, 3 level are then in the future update. This is the things which we already know guaranteed. But let's continue with something now which I would like to see, and as well already addressing of how likely it is that we're going to see that in the February update. And that is the first thing, adding all new level for the troops, because this would push the variety in the game and make the game way more exciting to play. You can play your favorite strategies again, and it's just way more fun. Because right now, I have to say, like I already skipped yesterday as a video, I will most likely skip as well some other days, just because right now for me it is not fun. I just don't enjoy the troop meteor golem on its own. I did not like how that was released. I don't like the troop design. It's my personal opinion, right? Like obviously some people might have like, oh, that's my favorite troop, which is completely fine. But like for me, for my taste, it's not really a fun troop. Then it's mostly spam, which is not really my thing right now, which is meta. So overall, I'm enjoying the game not as much right now. And yeah, this is then a little bit tricky. So let's get back to the point of new levels then. How likely is that going to happen? Well, if we think about when was this entire issue raised, and that was during the holidays between Christmas and between New Year, which means Supercell could not wreck, they were on holiday. If we then follow social media, like for example from Brawl Stars, we know that like the entire team was back around like Monday, 12th of January, which means between now and when the entire team was back, there's not too much time in between. And then again, if you remember that we are expecting a February update on either the 8th or the 15th February, oh boy, there's not a lot of time. On top of that, you have to know that usually big gaming companies are having a so-called content lock. What exactly is that? Well, usually when there is new content getting added to the game, you are making sure that you cannot add that until the last day of the, like before the update drops, but instead it is usually a 2 to 3 weeks before the update drops. It is that nothing new is being allowed to be added anymore. But this means that it is then mostly 2 to 3 weeks where people can like search for bugs and is making sure that no new bugs are getting added as new content is getting added. So this is what content lock means. So if we keep that in mind and are expecting like 8th or the 15th February, content lock would be already pretty much right now. And this means they would not even had 2 weeks of creating all of those new levels. With that being said, you know how likely it would be if this entire, like, the schedule which I'm building up right now, which again is completely not confirmed or anything, it's just me speculating. But if it might happen as I'm talking right now, this would mean that new levels are really, or like all new levels are really unlikely. It is likely to have everything which was planned for this update still being in there, which usually, if we take a look at the last year, we had like 4 or 5 troop levels and things like that in the update. But that's pretty much it. So it's kind of like random which troops might get new levels. But this is the first topic, so I would love to see that. But again, it's unlikely going to happen with the next update. The next thing I would like to see are changes to the ranked system, because I feel like this is a big pain point for a lot of players out there currently. And I'm talking here about how stressful it is to play the game. And in my opinion, there's 2 main things. The first one is already something which a lot of people have addressed in the community, and that is the league decay, which means how quickly you're losing your leagues when not playing. And I feel like instead of having this every like second week or something, where like if you're playing 1 week, or like if you're skipping 1 week, you're going to D-rank kind of the next one. I think this should be only once a month, in my opinion, to really make it less punishing if you do not have time or something to do your attacks and such. I just feel like once a month is completely fine. The next thing, which is a concept which I came up with really recently, and I've already obviously shared that with Supercell, but again, it's unlikely to happen anytime soon because I would assume it takes quite some time to make such a change. And again, I don't even know if something like this is going to come to the game. This is why I would like to hear your opinion about it. So what I thought is that ranked right now, there's a lot of different opinions about it on like how many attacks there should be. While those who are maybe in school, study or something and usually have more free time maybe, well, those players are enjoying having a lot of attacks to do in the ranked mode, right? On the other side though, if you're busy, already working, or in general having like a family and so on, you cannot always do like 30 attacks or something, right? That is just maybe a little bit too much for you during the week, especially if you have to keep up with other things. So what I came up with and what my suggestion is that the same as on your defense, the remaining defense are getting filled up with an average. I think the same thing should work for your offense. But it is really important that you get at least half the attacks in before this feature comes in place. This should not be the case. Oh, I tripled my first attack, I'm not doing any of my other attacks, and I have the entire list filled up with 3 stars. This is not how it should work. If you want to have like this average attack feature pretty much, you need to make sure that you're getting in half the attacks which are needed for your league. This way, those players who are not as active can get like 15 attacks, and I think that's more reasonable during the week. That's for sure, 15 attacks in those Dragon Leagues, for example. While those who want to grind can do the 30 attacks. So like everyone is going to win, right? So I feel like that is for sure something which could be kind of cool. Maybe I'm missing something. As I said, I just came up with this a few days ago. As I said, I shared that already with Supercell, and I think it's a pretty cool change, but maybe I'm missing something really stupid and the idea is really not that great. I don't know, but let me know what you think about it in the comments. Either way though, like this even if it's like in the end a good change or something, this is not likely to come anytime soon whatsoever, okay? Like this is like, like it's not confirmed to come, it is not like anytime. Like this is really just a suggestion I made, and again, keep that in mind when like listening to this, okay? The next thing which I would like to see and which I hope is going to happen is the meta change, the difficulty overall. Because a lot of people are struggling in Legends, I would say, and those numbers are just out of my hat and randomly put out there. Let's say like 90% of the players in Legends are right now not really happy. I think it's even more, but let's just say 90%. That's not really great for the game. As well, I feel like it's pretty much the same thing for the other modifier leagues, where it just feels too hard. I mean, I played in those with the Town of 16 and the Town of 17, and just looking at my defense and the average attacking, like the average offensive stats, those were not great for most players. And at the end, we all know 3-starring is more fun. So I feel like the overall modifiers are hitting too hard and in those leagues, which is... I think those should be changed, and that was another concern from the community which was raised during those holidays between Christmas and New Year. And at the same time, I feel like out of all of those things which were raised, this is the most likely thing which might get changed, because this is mostly some numbers getting adjusted and such. and not really a big mechanic change or something which a lot of work needs to get put into, like creating the new designs of a new troop or something, right? So this is for sure something which I hope is going to be changed, and this can be changed in 2 different ways. So the first one is if Supercell thinks that the hit rate of the normal game for Town Hall 18 or for whatever Town Hall might be a little bit, like, if the game there feels too hard, then they can just nerf defenses, make the base game easier, and with that, the modifiers then, obviously the modified versions, are going to be easier as well, because the base game has become easier. This is the first option how you can fix that. The second option then is depending again, like based on the numbers only Supercell can see, and that the second option then is if the hit rates of the regular game are fine on Town Hall 18 or whatever town level they would pick and take a look at. If those hit rates are fine, then just make the modifiers easier. Those are the 2 options, but I think either way needs to be made possible, because right now a lot of people are suffering and not really having fun. And hey, come on, at the end of the day, we're playing games because they're fun, or at least they're supposed to be fun. As well, I'm enjoying the game not as much right now. It's not because of the difficulty, for much more about the meta, because, I mean, I like the difficulty. I'm maybe one of the few. But again, I completely understand that the game is not and should not be balanced just for me, as in like an ex-pro. It should be balanced for the masses. That's just how it works, right? This is just how I feel about it. And you have to be realistic about that. Like, trying to have the game as fun as possible for the biggest possible audience. With that being said, just summarize everything again. We're going to have new levels most likely. Fire Spitter, Bitter Hut, Fern Tower, and the Tesla. Then, new levels. I think there will be new levels in the new update, but not all of them. And I don't think that Supercell had time to add more levels in general. So, it'll be like 4 or 5. I think that's what we had last year. Then as well, the let me take in my list so I do not miss things. So the adjustments for the ranked overall, that you can maybe have a less strict leak decay, that you have adjustments to like things, how many attacks you have to do and so on. This is something which I hope for the future, but I think it's unlikely for the next update. And then the last point, which is the overall difficulty, which I think is the most likely thing to change and to happen within the next update. And that's pretty much it. I would love to hear now from you guys what you think about my suggestions, what you think as well, and what you hope for is going to happen within the next update or within the next few months of Clash of Clans. And let's just hope for the best, because at the end of the day, one of the main reasons why we all stick around in Clash is because we enjoy the game, we're passionate about the game, and we want to make it as fun as possible to, well, enjoy and have a great time. So, as always, thank you so much for watching the video. I will see you guys back tomorrow with the next Clash video. Until then, see ya, and bye-bye.